Oh, yeah.
Turn it medium. Turn it medium.
Just like turn it on.
Actually, turn it casual.
Yeah, dude,
so
like
casual.
Put it at 5.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Casual Friday edition. Look at us. So casual.
Hang on.
Exquisitely
Wind is
casual.
not here, so let me.
Hell yeah.
Now it's
hell
casual.
I do love. Wind does have the widest range of all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Most business-like,
Yeah,
but also most casual.
For sure. Like lacrosse player with a front hat or lacrosse player with a back hat. His range is really
he does
wide.
have both.
That's true.
He has both of
He
those.
could be
He's
Matt
not-
Ryan, also kind of
Matty
like a
Ice.
lacrosse player. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up. Bet on the CU Buffs women's. You might win. They're underdogs, so you might win extra.
Oh, yeah.
You might win a
Or,
little bit extra.
or if you bet against them, you might win.
Well, you could bet against them if you want to be a total hater. I guess that's a thing you could do. We got a good show for you today, guys. We had Denver Nuggets practice. You remember that?
Yeah, we did.
Remember the last time we had practice?
I do.
Couple months back. Nuggets practice today. We talked to Jamal Murray. We talked to Michael Malone. Got some good insight on where the team's at and some of the stuff they're thinking. Some of it I think you're going to love. Some of it
Maybe not so
you
much.
might not love as much.
We'll find out.
We're also going to take a look ahead. We are right now the calm before the storm. It's so calm out.
Bro, we might be a little too calm.
There's a storm coming. Have you looked at the weather? Weekend might get a little cold. I'm out there in the T-shirt. I got sunglasses on. It feels so good. It really is the calm before the storm that is this weekend in Denver Nuggets basketball. To help me break it all down, I got the fellas. First up, Brendan Vogt.
We're at the time of year where in Colorado, like layers are important because you're going to get it wrong at some point. You're going to maybe layer up, layer
At
down.
every point. At every point.
At every point. I think I'm over layered right now, but it's good to be here.
I mean, I think you just have 2 layers on.
Yeah, you do just have 2 layers.
Is that too many though? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice out.
You do have the sleeves rolled up though, which is weird to have a coat on and sleeves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
can
almost
tell
like
I'm
removing a
confused.
layer.
That's like
Yeah.
when you ever drive with the heater on but the windows down.
All the time,
That's actually
yeah.
a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
It's a waste though. But
It is
does
a
feel
way.
good.
I like an open window, cool breeze coming in underneath a very warm blanket.
That's
So
also
you're
a
not
great-
driving, right?
That's also a great feeling to have. There he is, D-line.
I like to have a window open and then be under a very warm blanket.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you just mistimed us there. I'm trying to get a rhythm here. I mean, look, I love fake spring if we're going to keep this up. I just love it.
That's great.
It's almost as good as real spring, although technically Vogt he screwed up earlier when we were talking off camera. He said, I can't wait for spring. It is spring.
I meant Colorado spring.
You meant the spirit of spring, not
spirit
the
of-
actuality
If you
of spring.
if you find yourself in a conversation with Adam Mares about 3 topics, you better come you better come correct. Number 1, Nuggets basketball. Number 2, birds.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
number
have that.
3, the seasons and how it pertains to what the sun is doing, when it's
Right.
solstice,
dialed in.
things
Yeah,
like
it's so
that.
true. It's
Everything
so true.
else goes all way over his head.
Don't act like you're not happy with this, like now how the sun's up all the time. We're all happy. I'm just the only one that celebrates it. Oh, crap. Gosh dang it. I knew I was going to forget. Where did I put the... Oh, it's over
right
there.
over
You want to
there.
go grab it? Right off the top here. Yeah, go one shot here, Kale. Go one shot. Close up here so that we can see. We have to announce the winner of the Breckenridge Brewery Ultimate Game Day Experience.
Holy smokes! I didn't
We
even know we were
had
doing
over
this.
1,000 people apply for this. Over 1,000 people. Very exciting. 2 T-shirts from the DNVR locker. I'm going to start with the small kind of pointless stuff.
Right.
And I'm going to work my way up to the exciting
The
stuff.
shirts aren't even very well
2
designed,
T-shirts made by D-Line Co.
Yeah.
2 parking passes and tickets to the Lexus Club Lounge.
Underrated.
And 2 courtside tickets to watch the Denver Nuggets take on.
I had no idea we were doing this. I'm so nervous.
Look at this. I got a thing right here. Jesse Van Meter.
Let's go.
Jesse Van Meter, a.k.a. at Joey Kukemeyer.
Nice. That'll be fun to type.
Let's
go.
You are our winner. We'll be sending you an email here shortly. You and one lucky person, one lucky friend is going to be sitting courtside to watch the Denver Nuggets.
I like that you might not be a person. A friend. It could
We'll
be
just call it a friend.
Yeah, it could be like a specter or maybe a jacket or maybe a dog. I don't know if they're allowed.
I hope we get to do this again and again, man. How cool is winning courtside seats?
Yeah. If you were planning on asking anyone on a date, by the way, that's the one.
Yeah.
Bring them to the
So it doesn't
courtside.
have to be a friend even.
I got
That's
my
what I'm
first.
getting
I'm going to the 76ers game, a homie fan. You guys always get the people are always hitting you guys up like, Vogt, I love you. I want you to come sit courtside. This is my first time. I'm very
didn't
excited.
invite? No, I'm very proud of
I
you.
think Eric did. He gave it
I
to
actually
me.
got invited. And I booted it over to you.
All right, let's dig into the meat here. Today we had Denver Nuggets practice. I felt like guys were in good moods. I thought there was a good spirit about the gym today.
I agree with that. I definitely agree. You want to just jump right into these notes here?
Please.
Michael Malone, well, if you can believe it, Eric, he fielded some questions on the second unit. Okay. The very first question today was about the importance of having a set second unit versus something that could be a little more mix and match. And Malone said, quote, "It's no secret that we have to find a way to get our second unit going and for them to be a consistent. Finding a way to help that unit with 9 games to go is important going into the postseason. When we get to the playoffs, the rotation can be cut down even more, so we'll look at that. But right now, our second unit..."
we did, just for those...
People asking, yep, it wasn't a Halloween card.
We wrote the winner inside a Halloween card. What is wrong with us?
No matter how big we get, lo-fi has
But like,
to be
why go through the whole pomp and circumstance of producing a card if you can't go the second step of getting an appropriate card?
Happy Halloween, Jesse. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt us.
No, that's okay. I was just getting to the good stuff. So right now, the second unit has been Jamal, out there with Christian, out there with Bruce, out there with Jeff, and Zeke. That's what we are going to plan on going with right now. But then
I don't love that.
He did kind of...
He hedged.
He did hedge a little bit. With 9 games to go, it gives us an opportunity to try and come up with a grouping that gives us some success in the postseason. So a bit of contradicting statements there, but I guess the takeaway is that the bench we've seen the last few days is what they're trying right now. It's where their focus is.
Malone, though, how many times has he done this where he said a thing and then immediately gone against it?
Quite a few.
And I felt like this one. So there's more context, though, here. The next quote I feel is more context.
Yeah. So you asked him on sort of what goes into evaluating Zeke versus Jeff versus Vlatko. And Malone said, "Everybody wants a consistent grouping, but it's really hard when you don't have consistent grouping available. There was a stretch when Zeke plays well, then he gets hurt, his shoulder. There's a stretch when Vlatko plays well, then he gets hurt, his wrist. There's a stretch when Jeff plays well, then he hurts his wrist. We're looking for a front court grouping off the bench that can find a way to defend, rebound, run, and help us on both ends."
So first of all, that's an important part here. What did he highlight?
Defend,
rebound, and run. I mean, to execute in the half court, shoot. No, I feel like we keep talking about that group needs an identity. And I think when they've tried all these different permutations of whatever the bench is, I think that they've looked at it and said, we don't have a this, a this, a this, and this. What do we have? Sure. I think we might be able to find a group that can defend, rebound, that's just the same thing, right? Defend and then close out a possession. And then run in transition, because guess what? Every team can do that. That's like get out in fast break. Because if we get in the half court, we don't have any combination of players that will work.
Right.
God.
Which I think is right.
It is right. It's funny, though. They're like, who put this together? How do we end up with this team? Like, what?
I'll try to find out who did this.
Yeah.
By the way, you know who gets out, runs, in transition really well? Who? I'm going to be such a downer. Bones Highland. Very good last night, moving into the rotation for the Clippers last night. I don't know if you guys got it.
The chat's being nice and chill.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being annoying. I would have been blocked from the chat if I would have come with that.
There's more to the quote. Let's be honest. That has been a challenge for 73 games now, and it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the starting group. Zeke being back the last couple of games, it's great to have his energy and versatility. Vlatko obviously is a really skilled playmaking, shot-making big that can guard his positions. And Jeff, obviously, I think, going into the All-Star break and out, has played at a fairly high level as well. Tough decisions ahead.
I love that. So tough decisions ahead, first of all, again, hints at that they have not arrived, right?
Correct, yep.
Because his statement, when you said contradicting statements, you were right. He does make it sound at first like, hey, that's the group we're going with. There's only 9 games left. We figured it out. But then tough decisions ahead. Well, what decision is there if you have a group you're going with? And I do think you and I both thought this. You guys, we have the video up on on our YouTube page, so you guys can decipher for yourself. This is the beauty of modern journalism. Like, we can give you what we felt and thought at there and provide some context, but you can go and look and maybe you get different context. It felt to me like rebounding was an emphasis.
Yes.
Which has obviously been Jeff Green's weakness. When he says going into and coming out of the All-Star break, he's right. Remember, Jeff Green played great for like 4-game stretch there.
Yeah.
Right at that moment, going into and coming out of the break. And I think he's kind of pointing out that, like, hey, he got a run here and he's been good, but we need rebounding, and he hasn't done that lately. and maybe that's why we have to make up our mind.
Indeed. I would agree that there's a focus on one group, but the door is still open, I think, for changes to be made. Tough decisions ahead. Is the team out of their funk? We had a heck of a time trying to answer that question live on the show ourselves. Yes or no question? Hard to say. Malone said, I don't know. Losing 4 in a row is never fun. It started with a blowout loss to Chicago. That was a head scratcher. Can I say we're completely out of it? I don't know. I mean, the first half against Washington, I don't think we played great. I thought we were just kind of out there. With 9 games to go, I don't think we can just be out there. We have to be out there with the right spirit and the proper disposition to play the right way.
Yeah.
He was asked about
Hold up.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can we stay there?
Yeah.
Talking to some people, one of the nice things about going to practice, you just get to kind of talk around. One thing I think is underappreciated by the average fan, they were in a 5-game road trip that spanned 8 days, and 2 of those were in New York with 2 days off after that. I think that there was a lot of, when we try to gauge where is the team at, it's always funny when you ask a coach something like that, and they don't, to us, it would seem so cut and dry, right? And I think when Malone's like, I don't know, this or that, part of that is because I think the team was fighting the New York Blues, the same way you fight the LA Blues. And that's context that we fans and people that are not around a team or something severely underrate that, hey, I honestly think Malone, what did he say when they had practice Tuesday in Washington, D.C.?
They were sweating out New York.
What was the emphasis of practice today? And the emphasis, meaning what were we doing today trying to sweat out New York? Yeah. I just think it's a little underrated and underappreciated how much these guys probably, not all, but most, probably partied really hard.
Oh, for sure.
And when you look at the first half against Washington, there probably was a little bit of a cobwebs.
Yeah.
And that happens more often than I think people.
Oh, this happens all the time. You watch the Denver Nuggets and you're like, wow. I mean, I'm the same. Why aren't they the same? You're watching the game. I'm watching the game the same way I always watch the game. It wasn't until I started to really listen to Earl Boykins talk about. There was a game coming up against Atlanta at one point, and Atlanta was terrible. This was years ago, and he was on the radio with Zach By, and he was like, "Oh, that's going to be a loss." And Zach was like, "What are you talking about? That team's awful." He's like, "Oh, you don't understand what it's like. These guys live entire lives that sometimes we see pieces. We see a photo, maybe John Morant in the corner of a room covered in dollar bills. Their lives are different than our lives, and they're young guys.
Yeah.
And this is something that you can't ever really point to, but is very real.
I think it's because the cool parts of being rich and famous are beyond the average person's comprehension. Because if you're on a diet, Eric, and I offer you a Twinkie or a McDonald's cheeseburger, you might have the willpower to be right. No, I'm not going to do that. But if I offered you the greatest steak, finest $100 Kobe, that's the difference. It's why would they go out? They have a season. They're in a slump. Don't you lock in? It's no. The things they do in New York are so awesome.
That you've not gone out like that.
You've never gone out like that.
No. I mean, maybe some of you have, but what are you doing watching the show? You know what I mean? I'm actually going to skip ahead in order because I think there's some thematic stuff here. We'll talk about Aaron Gordon because the hangover of being on the road, but then also just the human nature element of being at this part of the season. So Malone was asked about how Aaron Gordon's role has changed. More specifically, you guys remember there was a point in the year where Aaron was kind of the second best player on the team. Then Jamal and Porter got it going. And Malone said this: his role hasn't changed in my eyes. It's the same. Aaron has to be a guy that defends, rebounds, runs, and plays off of the big three. He's had great success, especially pre-All-Star break, of running, early post-ups, playing in the dunker, defending at a high level, rebounding at a high level. There's that emphasis again. In my eyes, his role hasn't changed. It's just a matter of Aaron and everybody playing to the best of their abilities. I think lately, whether it's human nature or not, all of our guys, and this isn't just Aaron Gordon, but all of our guys, I think have kind of taken a deep breath and come up for air. And essentially, it's just the point being that it was a bit too early to do that. But I do the human nature element of it is something we talked about right after that Memphis game, as the poor stretch was happening, and again now. And I think it's tough to watch a team go through it, but it's part of the season, I think, to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a question: was it too early? maybe it was the right time to do something like that. Like, because they left themselves enough runway to ramp back up.
Well, here's the question. I don't think we know that, Eric, until we'll get to this in the next segment.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next few games are are they over that? And that's why when we asked Malone,
For sure.
are they over it? He's like, I don't know. Like, I think so. We've played kind of good. But again, I think that these last games have had different context to them. And now it's like, hey, are you locked in? We'll find out. I'm with you, though. Everything feels so immediate. You know, the Nuggets struggle in November, and you're like, this is the wrong time to be struggling. You got to get it.
Did they pick too early?
So now it happens last week. There's only 15 games left, man. There's not
a lot of games.
It's actually a long time in a lot of this. And I just get the general sense from everybody in the organization that whether the Nuggets play good or bad right now, it doesn't really tell you that much. That they're like, I think we've all answered, like everybody kind of knows what they got. And yes, you want to win going into the playoffs. But if they win, I don't think it gives you more like, oh, we're for sure good. And if they lose, oh, we're for sure bad. I think it's like, man, there's 9 games. Everybody's got to hold their breath and just get there.
And you guys know Jamal Murray obviously was vocal at halftime in that last win. And we talked to Jamal Murray, who talked about the importance of not just going through the motions and stuff. And that in Washington, that's kind of what they got after in the third quarter, you know, locking in when they need to.
I think he made sure to keep the "and stuff" on the end of his quote.
Yeah, I don't know why. You know, sometimes when you're transcribing,
you could have just put the ellipsis.
You're like clear throat. Yeah, okay. Jamal did have like a really light, small looking wrap on his thumb. He said he's fine. He just jammed it. We're good.
Yeah, got smacked.
I asked him about playing point guard on a team that has no pecking order. Remember that Michael Porter Jr. quote? We've seen different second best players, if you will, at different times in the season. Murray said, I feel like my impact goes beyond putting up points, whether that's getting guys open, being a decoy, getting certain guys shots at the right time, or simply just holding the ball and controlling the tempo. I was just curious about that because I can't, you know, with some teams, I think it's very clear where the ball goes and when. And I think with this Denver team, as per Jokic's preference, it's maybe less clear than ever in terms of like, who are we playing through right now? Who gets the ball? Who's ready to go? I was just curious how Murray navigates that as the point guard. He is averaging a career high in assists right now, and Blackburn followed up on that. And Murray said, I'm playing the same game. Guys are making more shots. It's not just me. Housekeeping note, Colin Gillespie.
It's not housekeeping. This is a celebration.
It's a celebratory housekeeping note. Colin Gillespie participated in practice. It wasn't a live practice, but he did. Nice kill. But he was out there going through drills, some defensive drills, and Jamal talked about that. He said it was great to see him. Great. He said he got his first dunk, I think, threw it off the backboard, so that was cool. I couldn't tell if he was joking about that or not. Can Colin Gillespie throw it off the backboard and dunk?
Probably.
Is that a thing he could do?
I would think so.
Professional athletes are pretty athletic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's an athletic guy.
That's a good point. All right. Tiny King. Anyway, he's hopped in some defensive drills for the first time. It was really good to see him out there. It's been a long time for him. Murray knows about having to wait quite a long time. Side note, the guy that dove into his leg in the summer, the incoming NBA rookie, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
He got him from behind.
Unbelievable.
I know.
He was also, Murray, asked about the second unit, and do they need a set unit? Do they need to mix and match? Murray said definitively, mix and match. It can be anybody's night. Depends on what we need. Right now, everybody is staying ready for that second unit.
Great.
I asked if he's having fun playing basketball right now, if the team is having fun, and if that matters at this time in the season. And he said yes, just keeping everybody's morale up, especially when you're going through slumps. You can't just doubt yourselves and make it harder for ourselves to get out of it. We have to be a team that will snap out of it and look at things in a positive light. The higher our attitude and energy, the better we'll be able to get ourselves out of ruts and stuff. I thought that was interesting.
That was really good. That's a really good quote.
And then he was asked about Christian Brown's improvement. And, you know, Murray has been finding him open in these catch and shoot opportunities lately. And Murray said, he's solid, man. He's solid. Been solid all year, especially as a rookie. Right now, he said, just getting him to learn catch and shoot. He's trying to decide what he has to do when he catches it. And I'm just trying to get him to react. That whole timing of it, Murray went on to say, is going to be different in the postseason. It's going to be more intense. Guys are going to be closing out even harder. So he's trying to sort of help him understand that he doesn't really, to do less thinking out there, right? To just trust himself and make a quicker read and a quicker reaction. I thought that was really interesting.
His last part there, though, and I'm curious because you typed will be even harder in playoffs. So I'm guessing he said will.
He did.
Like, it will be even harder
That's
in the
what
playoffs. When a
that's
lot
what
of
I meant
people
to say.
talk about, like, rookies, but are they in the playoffs? They've never been there.
Right,
It is
right.
that the decision-making is just quicker, like
Yep.
40% quicker. And if you struggle with it at one speed, you're probably double going to struggle with it at the next one. So
Yep.
kind of an interesting note there.
It will be even harder in the playoffs.
There you
I thought
go.
that was interesting.
Can we take a break? On the other side, we'll tie a bow on
Please.
practice. But we're just a little late for the break, and Kale's freaking out. And so we're going to do that now. And we'll be back in the second segment and start talking about this Bucks game coming up.
The ever-evolving landscape of how to watch your Denver Nuggets
Let's
is
go.
easily the least fun saga of being a Nuggets fan these days. But
However-
there are options these days, like Fubo TV, with 140 plus live.
Yo, I have Fubo.
Talk to us.
The best.
Yeah?
I mean, you guys know this from when I talked about how our show's on YouTube and how cool it is that nowadays you can touch a button and everyone's like, yeah, Adam, welcome to 10 years ago. That's how Fubo is. It's so great that, like, switching back and forth, I go on there, right on my Nugget stuff. It's got all. It's so easy to use. I'm a big Fubo fan. Big Fubo.
Big Fubo guy over
Fubo,
here.
140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, no contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching your Denver Nuggets. There's also 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge, so you can rewatch your Denver Nuggets.
Whoa.
If you want to get into the old blogosphere game, don't do that.
Don't do it.
But if you want to rewatch, you can. There's college hockey, the NCAA tournament on ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPNU. The Frozen Four is April 6th to April 8th. You can catch it there on Fubo. There's so much to catch on Fubo, like, of course, your Denver Nuggets on Altitude. Use the link in the description. Kale's going to show you. Description is in the pod description for you listeners and YouTube for you watchers. You'll find that link. Sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo. I am going to say Fubo, I think, every time.
Yeah, I have to catch myself.
It is Fubo.
Is it for us or no? No, this one is Fubo.
Nice. And then on March 27 at DNVR here on the corner of York and Colfax, it's a watch party fundraiser for Luis Garcia. Both the Nuggets and the Avs were on. Of course, tragically, an East high school student who passed away due to gun violence in February. One of the hardest workers around, he's described as. He loved soccer, worked to help his family. He was a funny kid. World's a little dimmer without him. There's a GoFundMe link. Kale is that's in the description as well. 10% of the bar revenue from Monday's 327 watch party will be donated to the family. Come stop by, donate to a great cause, or just click the link in the description to find that GoFundMe. You can donate directly. You don't have to come to the bar, but we would love to see you.
Alrighty, there you go. Really cool event we have going on. Is there any bows you want to put on practice? Eric, you hearing all that stuff for the first time, is there anything you kind of think? I mean, it's practice, but...
I mean, the only thing that I'm really taking from that is that it sounds like the bench unit is still in flux a little bit. That particularly if Michael Malone is talking about wanting guys to rebound and run, that I mean, and then we're talking about a guy in Jeff Green that hasn't had a rebound in 4 games. Does that mean that he's potentially ceding his spot on there, or that I don't know? Like that's interesting to me. Because I agree that unit has to defend, it has to run, it has to push the pace, and it's not really set up for it at the moment. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But the thing I took away from it is I just feel like the team is so relaxed. And the one thing you didn't get in there because it wasn't a good quote, I asked Jamal if there was anything personally he wanted to accomplish between now and the end of the season, like any boxes he felt left to check. His answer, no.
No.
Okay.
That was the extent of it.
The one he told me he wanted earlier in the season was the 3-point record. He's got that.
Well, there he goes. And it derailed the season because it immediately... Maybe that's why he's like, I'm
no
done
more.
with this.
We're done with goals.
No, but honestly, that's the sense I get of the team. Like, the team's perspective, because it's just so different from our outside, even analysts,
Right.
even reporters. And I really think that for whatever reason, whether you like it or not, we keep thinking like, are they going to get momentum? Are they going to win these games? Make a statement to be. I don't think they care about any of that stuff. I think they look at it and they're like, we did everything we needed to do in the regular season. We just need to get there now, and it's taking forever. And does that mean they're going to continue to slump? Does it mean they're going to come out and blow out the Bucks? I don't know. I don't think they know, but I don't think that they're worried one way or the other, which will help us phrase the upcoming conversation. But before, we have breaking news from Shams Charania. You guys. Phoenix Suns' 13-time All-Star Kevin Durant, parentheses sprained ankle, is progressing towards a potential return to action on Wednesday versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. First of all, That's kind of like shade. You guys ever notice Shams' tweets are always so weird? Like I always have to read them 3 times to make sure. You can tell he's quick trying to get a news out or something.
Well, he's
like
got
that.
to fit in the mandatory All-Star appearances.
Yeah,
and such as well.
13-time All-Star. Yeah, exactly. But no, he's coming back against the Timberwolves, which means he will be back for the game after the Timberwolves, which is the Denver Nuggets.
Sick.
So he'll play Wednesday the 29th, next Wednesday, on ESPN against Minnesota at home. Remember, he has not had his home debut yet. Phoenix debut. And then right after that on Friday night in Phoenix, the Denver Nuggets are in town. And so they'll play that one. He'll be available for both. And then, of course, the Nuggets play them again on April 6th. So a little context. To me, that's early. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games he'll get in before the playoffs, which, while not a lot, it's still more than the 2 or 3 I thought he might get. So
I wonder if there's urgency on their end with regard to we need to get some games under our belt together.
For sure.
You know, if it's like a...
Probably. I mean, look, this year is already a weird one for them. I mean, 7 games is not a whole lot, but nonetheless, it's enough that they're in the 4 seed. It's just so likely that they're going to be either the 4 or the 5. And honestly, another motivation here, they're tied right now with the Clippers. They're 1 up in the loss column, but 1 down in the win column. And if you're going to be the 4-5, hosting the 4-5 is so much bigger than being on the road for the 4-5.
For sure.
Especially if they're going to go up against one of the Warriors or Clippers, which is very likely at this point. All right, let's get into it. Eric.
That's you, by the way.
I feel like we've been looking at this weekend for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And here it is. Just give me an update on you. I want a status update on Eric.
Well, I mean, this is the thing is that there is a little bit of we don't know what the Nuggets if the Nuggets have been looking at this for 3 weeks. We don't know if the Nuggets themselves value this as much as we the fans do. And so there's like a little trepidation. I mean, I do think that I like the effort that they gave in Brooklyn, obviously. I like that they came out in the second half against the Wizards and like really laid down the law. We saw some like Nuggets basketball being played even against the Knicks. It gives me hope that they will take this seriously and like attempt to, you know, if not for their own sake, just for the narrative, the all important narrative, and just for, you know, sending a message to the rest of the league that the Nuggets are not to be overlooked. I mean, I think that's important. Maybe they feel differently. Maybe they feel like it's important for them to rest and not show their hand and things like that. I hope that's not the case. I really want to see the Nuggets come out. I mean, especially, you know, guys like us, idiots that spend all of our time paying attention to this stupid team. Like, I want them to be like our champions again, you know? Like, I haven't felt like really boisterous about the Nuggets in a long time. Like, I want to go out there and talk my shit. I want to go out there and like, you know, feel like this is something that's not in the end going to embarrass me. So like, I'm praying that they like meet this challenge and we kind of get a sense of where they are as a team.
The fan base being boisterous is the perfect way to put that, Eric, because I feel like that's the only thing Denver has really lost.
Totally.
Is right at the moment where we most felt the ability to thump our chest and people were like, Nick Young is like, the Lakers will beat the Nuggets. And you're like, oh, you idiot.
Yeah. But then,
and then
like,
immediately after that, they've looked like a team that's going to lose to the Lakers in the first round for 3 weeks. And it's like, oh, crap. And I think everybody has just kind of been, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit here and
wait a week.
I know. We're all sort of just like wait and see mode, like read and react.
So it's for us. I mean, it's the same thing where I say, what's at stake for the Denver Nuggets inside that building and inside that locker room? I honestly don't think as much as we want it to be at stake. What's at stake for us? And this is the uncomfortable balance between, is this for them or is it for us? Is it for all of us collectively? This is the one where it kind of feels like it's not actually for us, but it would be nice if they took it that way. Saturday would be one of those statement games that, one, makes everybody feel a lot more confident in the team, and two, I think would quiet some of the criticisms that have been lobbied at Denver. You beat Milwaukee, even though they're on the second night of a back-to-back, that's a good team, and you're like, hey, winning in Denver's hard, everybody take note. Whereas if you lose that one, you're sitting there going, well, Denver's really good at home, but they lost to, I mean, come on, Bucks. Bucks weren't scared of them when they were in there.
Right. No, I mean, I think in that, you know what I think is at stake for the fans and people in our chairs is just like inappropriate attitude heading into the postseason about this team. This season has been too fun for us to be so mopey in March. Now, the team has given us good reason to be mopey. I'm not trying to put it on us. I'm just saying that doesn't feel right. You know,
it doesn't feel good, man. This used to be like the source, not only of our joy, it was the source of our pride. It was just all things. And now it's like very shaky ground.
Dude, I wanted the Nuggets 2 months ago. I wanted the Nuggets to play every night.
Every night.
Like rest fantasy and all that. Like, just, I hope they all play every night. And right now you're like, oh boy, who are they playing? And it just shouldn't feel that way, man. So I want going into the playoffs, the team to just play Nuggets basketball, just so the city can get that juice and that life back.
Yeah. There's also a sneaky lot of Bucks fans here. I mean, there's just a lot of Milwaukee people. It's not like the Celtics, not like Chicago, but there is a lot of like Milwaukee people that fled Milwaukee here. There's multiple Milwaukee bars. The Bucks games, if you recall this, there's always a bunch of Bucks fans here.
Anybody that has grown up in the Midwest dreams of the day that they can flee the Midwest. And this is like the closest, I guess, oasis in the middle of the country. It
is, though.
I agree.
What did Bomani had a great line. Denver's not a coastal city, but it's the place the non-coastal people go to.
Yeah.
If they don't go to the coast.
It is true. It's like the intercoastal city for sure. Yeah,
the intercoastal city. So it's just another one of those ones where we go there. We have our party bus, of course. Tickets still available. I think we got like 10 left or something like that. So tickets still available. We'll be there, and hopefully it's like a momentum building. Like, hey, you got 3 games at home in a row, and they're all tough.
And they're all big ones,
If you go 3-0, so here's another thing that's at stake. Denver goes 3-0 here. What's their magic number? It's like 7, I think, at the moment. 9 games to go. It's either 6 or 7. You go 3 in a row, your magic number, by that point, those other teams will probably have lost 1. Your magic number will be like 1 or 2 with 5 games to go. You'll basically... You really have an opportunity to say, do we want to play the second night of a back-to-back at Phoenix, or do we want to rest Jamal Murray that night?
This is what it comes down to, is like the ability to truly gerrymander the way that you want to be able to at the end of the season. You want to have your fate very secure so that you can intentionally lose games to get the matchup that you're after. Michael Malone has never shied away from doing this. But they got to put in the work now, man, and they got to reinvigorate their fan base, because truthfully, like, that has been something that the Nuggets have benefited from so strongly this year, is having a very loud fan base, a very excited, fan base behind them.
That is true.
And like right now, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
I also think there's a subconscious element to this stuff, though, right? So much the same way, as much as they all probably said after the Memphis game, let's keep it up. Human nature crept in. I think there's another side to that sword, where when you're playing teams like the teams that are on the schedule here, I think there's an element of like, this is a good team. I'm coming to play tonight. Just from the sheer, like, you could play a C+ game and beat the Pistons. You could pull it out in clutch time. If you bring your C+ game against the Bucks, you could get embarrassed at home. And I don't think guys want to go through that just as competitors. So I don't, again, not this conscious flip of, we're going to do it tonight, guys. But I think actually there's a human nature element of the schedule can bring this out of you.
I got to think that they're just, like, you can feel the playoffs now. And I don't think you could feel the playoffs 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
Like, there's something about, like, even if it's not a switch, just even if you are a person who procrastinates, like, suddenly that thing, right, like that thing happens. You're like, okay, all right, let's go.
Right. It's drawn out of you.
Yeah, I think, like nobody was paying attention to the Bulls game. People started to pay attention to it after they lost it, but like, there was that stretch. I mean, we now infamously had the title of the pregame show, like, oh, the Nuggets about to go on a 10-game win streak. A lot of easy games ahead. I mean, that feeling, I'm sure, like, permeated their they were like, oh man, these are easy games. Like, we have a little rest before we have to really ramp up. But like, this feels like, okay, these are now this is like kind of the playoffs starting now,
Yeah. You feel the playoffs, huh? I still don't quite feel them.
Really? I do. We talk about them like way more. I
guess you're right. I feel them in that way that I anticipate it coming, but I just mean like this Philly game, when Denver lost to Philly, it was like, okay, there it is. It's ways away, whatever, and slowly, and now it's here. I just feel the playoffs the same way, but the reason I don't feel them yet is the Nuggets could literally play any of 7 or 8 teams right now. That's how much things are still in flux, and until they start to lock in a little bit more, I'll just be like, I don't know, man. Like, what am I going to get too excited about or too nervous for or too anything? Because
Yeah, I think that other teams are like, I think that the playoffs in general are in the air in all of the teams that are vying for positioning, and I just think that to me, it's just the page has turned a little bit.
I understand it, but even being at practice today, it was kind of like that was the big thing I wanted to know. It's like, all right, are you guys feeling? And it's like, no,
you are right about that.
You know what I mean? It was just such a guys. You're going to ask me about this again in 2 weeks, and we're still going to be 2 weeks away from the playoffs.
I can't wait to ask the same question about the bench.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. On the other side, though, I want to talk about some basketball stuff that matters not just for the Milwaukee game, but also for the Philly game. Both teams present a very unique challenge to the Nuggets that I want to see them solve on offense. We'll talk about that.
Stay tuned.
We can't get all of you in these courtside seats.
That'd be
Alexis,
awkward,
that would just
to say
be-
the very least.
Yeah, first of all, there's not that many seats.
Just a logistics issue.
Right. But we can get you in better seats than you ever dreamt of. And by we, I mean our friends at Game Time.
Oh,
This is actually a big deal. So, I told you guys you set an alarm and then it gives you a thing? The New Orleans game, I got alarms today. The tickets were like $7 tickets or something like that.
what?
I know, there was like some really cheap. There was like prices have never been better for this game. So, go check out the Nuggets at home, man. It's one of your last chances.
Human nature kicks in for the season ticket holders as well. They see how the
They're
team's
like,
playing. and
bro,
they're-
I'll be back for the playoffs.
But whether it's premeditated or a last-second ticket put on sale or a last-second price drop, you can be the last-second beneficiary by logging on to Game Time and checking out all the events in Denver, but of course, especially your Denver Nuggets. If you love DNVR, you love Game Time, Kale's got that link in the description up there highlighted for the YouTube watchers. It's in the pod description as well for the listeners. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app. Score the best seats to all of your favorite events. Illegal Pete's. God, I love Illegal Pete's. We had a little in-house cater job.
Oh, the old cater job.
When I don't want to pull the curtain back too far. Well, we had the famous Baptist in the house, and
man.
we wanted to get him some great stuff. So Illegal Pete's hooked us up with queso, all the stuff you would use to make a bowl, a burrito. Whether you're a nacho person, a queso person, a green chili person, you have everything you need when you're at Illegal Pete's. They're the best. Check them out. Tons of locations in Colorado. And for the entire month of March, Illegal Pete's will be donating $1 to Youth on Record from every vodka fresh press sold. Get in there, Eric. Go drink some vodka. Stop by one of Illegal Pete's 10 Colorado locations or order a Tito's Fresh Press and know that your money is going to support Colorado's next big star. Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer.
Oh, baby.
So, Bucks are in Milwaukee tonight. Really need are in Utah tonight. Really need Utah to win that one. I mean, we need them to keep pace with the Lakers. I want the Lakers out of this play-in.
It's gonna happen.
The Lakers are just in
They're in, man. Like,
one way or another. Well, I'll still hope that they're not. I mean, they are shooting an enormous amount of free throws. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but their free throw disparity. Eric, you'll be shocked to know all year long they have had the widest gap in favor of their foul shooting. But over the last 6 weeks, they've been the 12 seed. Doubled their regular rate. Those numbers have skyrocketed. They are now twice as likely, are
So
getting
disgusting.
twice as much of more free throws of anyone else.
that is so disgusting. God damn. The NBA, man. Like, why is
like-
it gotta be like this?
More like the National Bad Association.
But why is it gonna be like this, man? Like, there are these things that crop up in the NBA. Like, to look at other leagues, the NFL, for example, there is no favoritism towards one team or another. There's just not.
What was it? The Philly versus Kansas City this year. I mean, Kansas City been in the championship. You know what? They don't care. Just one
They
market,
don't
big market,
care.
We monetize.
What is wrong with the NBA, man?
Got to
Like,
get the Lakers, man.
It's makes me crazy.
Really need to get them in. Shooting almost 11 more free throws than their opponents per game, which is wild.
That's
11
wild.
more.
That's a lot.
And that's when LeBron went out. It's not even with LeBron. He comes back. They're going to be shooting 20 more free throws than anyone. Anyway, we need you. I want Utah to win tonight. I'm not sure if everybody will play for Milwaukee. I think they will, just because Milwaukee, generally speaking, like Giannis goes hard, man. It's one of the things we all appreciate about him is he always brings it. So I expect he plays. But here's the thing. Brook Lopez is a great defender. The ability to put him on Jokic could cook him if there was nobody else around. Like he cooks everybody. But when you can put Giannis, another 7-footer, and arguably the greatest of all of the NBA, it's him or Anthony Davis at roaming and then protecting the rim as a secondary paint protector. That is a hard thing to match up with. And we know that Philly will put PJ Tucker on Jokic and use Embiid in that same role. So twice coming up, the Nuggets are going to have to show, hey, is that a viable option against Denver to play that defense and bring help from other places? Or does Denver have something? To me, it's the most interesting question for this weekend. I want to see if Denver looks comfortable attacking those specific things.
And Aaron Gordon is key to that. So we've talked, does he need to rest? Well, if you're looking to sort of learn some stuff, do want him to play. I think his answer to these questions was different and better, I think, around the All-Star break. Malone kind of touched on that on his quote today at practice. There's probably 2 to 3 wide open threes he needs to take, maybe cap it at 3. Like at some point you got to take the shot and make it.
Yep.
But then it's not just shooting from the corner, right? Around the All-Star break, he was doing a very good job of kind of sneaking and creeping into the dunker spot from the corner. Room to shoot can also just be a runway to dunk, especially when you're Aaron Gordon. So cut hard, or drive it to the basket. It's not all shooting. Having said that, there's going to be 2 to 3 that he needs to take. And I love that he hit the wide open ones against Washington. Can he do it against Milwaukee? Different animal, of course.
What do you think, Eric, about that specific? To me, there's 3 or 4 things that I look at. How are you going to beat Denver in the playoffs? Offensively, I think Denver solves every problem, except for this one does work a little bit. It's still the least likely one. So I'd love to see, I would love to see in the Philly game in particular, PJ Tucker to guard Jokic, Embiid to be over there, and Denver murders it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's a terrible strategy, actually. Denver has plans for that. So that's why I say it's so important to me.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Gordon is in a weird place right now. He was, without question, the Nuggets' second best player for a big part of this season. And his swag has just been absent. And it's not coincidentally, in my eyes, happened after he got injured. I just don't think he's been healthy. And it's like we haven't really seen him return to form. I mean, if he's just bruising and he's just you're talking about specifically stretching the floor and being able to, respond to open threes. But even if he just is able to help, he used to help guard the weak side a little bit. He used to be able to do so many things that we're just not seeing out of him. It brings so much of what he brings as a question mark right now, which is bizarre because he was so solid and everything. We never questioned what Aaron Gordon was able to do or what he was doing. And I'm hoping he specifically is kind of coasting because he's protecting his ribs or his shoulder or whatever it is it's bothering him. But that dude just has to get healthy. He just has to.
I've asked enough people, though, that I honestly don't think the health part, I think it's just overstated by us. And I agree with you. Watching him,
I'm like,
it doesn't look it. He looks a little down. But I think it's less physical and more maybe mental or the same as every player the Nuggets we're talking about right now, where it's just like he's in coast mode and can't or won't push, really rev the engines right now. So I only say that to say I could only ask so many people and get the same response of nah, he's fine, man.
Right.
No, he's got, there's no injury or whatever. And that's why I'm like, all right, well then it's probably something else and you'd love to see it. Nonetheless, he becomes a central figure for me in this matchup. The other player, if you were to say who are the central figures in this weekend, the 76ers game as well as the Bucks game, Aaron Gordon is the first one. The other one would be Jamal Murray. I don't think there's a better perimeter defender in the NBA than Drew Holiday. Mm-hmm. There might be 1 or 2 players on his level, but nobody better. Murray hasn't quite had that shake that I'd like to see. I would love for him to come out and I'm not going to say cook Drew Holiday because I don't think anybody really cooks him, but I'd love to see Jamal come out and have 24-point game. Just was very effective, was not really taken away. He just came out there and said, no, at my best, I make these guys have to work too.
Man, I was watching a clip or a highlight package came up on the timeline of Jamal Murray in the bubble, and it was talking about how Jamal needs to get back to form because the 2-man game that he and Nikola Jokic, which we always talk about being so devastating and the things he was able to do, man, it was so real. Watching what Jamal was doing, he was just finding empty space all the time. He was getting around guys.
He was blowing by guys.
And it wasn't just with the dribble either. But it was just everything he was doing was just so tight. His shot was really tight. There wasn't any real wasted movement. And it just, I like forgot what an absolute killer he was. I mean, I haven't forgotten, but it's been a long time since we like really seen it.
I do feel like we're seeing it more though in the last few games, like coming back to that, and that's why I just say this weekend is such a good time for that. I mean, and then next Friday you've got Devin Booker. I asked him very specifically, that he has no boxes left to check, but I just would like to see it just a few more times to be like, okay, now we're ready for the playoffs. I'll get boisterous again. Yeah. I'll get excited. The last guy to me that eyes are on, I mean, we could easily throw out the bench and just say, hey, is Vlaco going to play this and that? That stuff is, I mean, that's interesting as well, of course. But for me, it's Jokic. Guys, when they played the 76ers, Jokic had a good first half, a very good first half. But when this change was made, and then especially in the fourth quarter when like the lead was slipping away, Jokic just didn't look interested in taking over. And it was one of my most frustrating Jokic viewing experiences I've had in the last 3 or 4 years. We just haven't seen that version of Jokic. Has he been passive and played the right way in moments? Yes, but never to that degree, and never when the stakes felt that high individually. I know he doesn't care about the MVP award, and it sucks that maybe playing well this weekend would make him earn it again. Like, it's almost in a weird way a bummer and I don't know if that factors into his. By the way, Jokic today at practice participated fully, ducked out as soon as the door opened for media, and I don't think he wanted to talk to the media today about the MVP. Not that I don't. Today was only local reporters, and I don't think the local people ask him those questions. Do you think if he would have been around, people would have asked him about MVP and this weekend?
Probably not.
I honestly don't think so. It's Singer, it's Vinny Benedetto,
we
it's
just
Jenna
know
Garcia.
what the
We just
answer
know, and we've been
is.
around so long that there's nothing to that. But nonetheless, he got out of there because I'm sure he didn't want any part of that. But not about the MVP, and more about, hey, in the playoffs, what is it going to take to win? Murray's going to have to be great. The defense is going to have to be better. The bench is going to have to give you moments. But more than anything, Jokic going to have to be the baddest dude in the world.
Yeah.
And he's going up against Giannis, and he's going up against Embiid, two guys that have a claim to baddest dude in the world. And I just want to see him be badder. I just want to see him. And I don't know if the team needs this, but I do know the team's confidence ultimately comes down to what you do collectively, but also like, do we have the baddest dude in the world?
Yeah, no,
when you
there's
come
a
out
lot
and
to
do
that.
that, it's a reminder to the team of like, just remember when push comes to shove, if it's KD, if it's LeBron, if it's Giannis, if it's whoever, I can outplay those guys, and it just would be nice to see.
I think Jokic has been quietly ramping up, pressing those buttons. I don't think he's thrown it in full throttle, but I think we have seen flashes of, we need a bucket. That's Daniel Gafford. Like, come on, dude. Come on. Now,
yeah, but this time it's.
I agree. It's a bigger test, but I kind of think he's in a different place mentally right now, where, and I have felt confident the whole time. I agree. I'd love to see it again, where you throw that look on him in the playoffs, whether you're Philly or someone else, he will simply score on PJ Tucker. He will simply score through some double teams, which he did over and over again in the MVP seasons. I think it's his preference not to. He tried not to adjust and be more aggressive. He tried to play the team ball in Philly last time. It didn't work. Jokic learns lessons, Jokic adjusts.
That's so true.
And so I just, like, gun to my head, do I think he adjusts or doesn't adjust? I would say adjust every time.
Yeah, I threw on that Serbia versus Greece game last night to just see what it looked like when Jokic ramped up and played against Giannis at full strength, just to like see it again, because I feel the same way. Like, Jokic is able to do whatever he wants whenever he wants to, but we just don't always know when that is, or he's just shown he's shown us he doesn't always care that much, and that maybe that's the wrong word, care, but like
he doesn't petty meaningless.
He doesn't care. He doesn't always care to throw it into a higher gear when maybe we want him to, just because of the bragging rights or whatever. When really it's not a game that means as much to him as it maybe does to other people. But I mean, he can do whatever he wants. Like, he came out in that Greece game and was like super aggressive. He actually made a bunch of turnovers, which I didn't remember to start off. But he was aggressive. He was like trying to score. And I remember in that Philly game, like, he came out aggressive. He was
phenomenal in the first half.
He was phenomenal. And then he just like started to dribble like pretty sloppily and like it was bizarre. It was a super bizarre thing. I don't know, man. Like, I agree. Like, it is a thing. Like, if we had to choose, do we want Jokic to turn it on now or in the playoffs? Like, okay, save it for the playoffs, but like,
Both.
come on, but can't we do both? Can't we have both?
You can actually, yeah.
Here's a fun one. The Bucks are the number 1 defense in the NBA. The 76ers number 6. So this is a further like, can Denver score at will against the best defenses would be big. But here's another one that's like, this is going to really make your blood boil here. The Nuggets offensive rating 117.6. 76ers 117.1. There's a real chance the 76ers pass the Nuggets for the second best offense in the league this year, which would be a huge narrative. Like, talk about a field day the Jokic haters will have if they get to be like, well, they're the offense is this or that. So,
Oh God, it's so big. I hope they care.
yeah, more
care.
battlegrounds. Will they care, Eric?
I kind of think they will. Because I think the competition coming in is stiff. It's fierce competition, and I think that the other teams care. They can't get out of battle mode because the East is like a lot more contentious.
That's true.
So I think that it will, like, the pride will come in a little bit more than it maybe has, and the playoffs are closer than they were, and these don't feel like gimmies. So I think we will see it.
Great thing. All right, let's hit a break. On the other side, short little segment here is I'm going to ask you guys. We have one super chat, but we also have. I'm going to ask you for a word one word to describe what you want out of these following players the rest of the season.
Friendship.
Not for you personally.
Oh, okay.
And not yet either. If I had to pick one brewery, wait, I already have one. There's an official beer of DNVR. It's Breckenridge Brewery. They've got a beer for any occasion, any team, any day of the week, really, depending on how you look at it, although that's slightly problematic. Breck Brewer's been doing it for 32 years, and it all comes down to their love and passion for making good beer. And the thing about Breck is they're still right here in Colorado, baby. They make it here. They employ people here. Their CO, we're CO, your CO. We want us to all be CO together. Try out some of our favorites like the Mile High City Golden Ale. It's a retro look, but a fresh new taste. That's my line. It's delicious. You can see it's there in the bottom corner of the lower third. If you don't know where to find it, you can come to the bar. We've got it. You can check out the Breck Beer Locator at breckbrew.com to find a brew near you. We also got to talk about DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. It's a great time to be dropping some sports bets with DraftKings. There's March Madness. There's the Women's NCAA Tournament. There's the NBA, of which DraftKings is an official sports betting partner. They've got some no-sweat same-game parlays. Maybe you're a hockey guy. You can bet on hockey, too. So many ways to play. So many ways to win with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Sign up with code DNVR. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA with code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And fellas, I'm just now learning, just coming through from the producer, we need to get a DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. I had not prepared for that.
Get it to tomorrow's game. I can't wait to hear what your pick of the week is for tomorrow. Let's go. Do they have it up? They've got to have it up already, don't they?
I don't think they would.
They'll have the line, no?
For tomorrow? Well, let's check.
Let's find out together, shall we?
I don't got it.
Oh, they don't
got
it.
it.
You're going to have to pick it.
Here's what we're going to do, Adam. Here's what we're going to do. Full Harrison wind. When that line comes out, whatever it is, Denver Nuggets money line. Touchdown.
Denver Nuggets.
That's your DraftKings
What do you
Sportsbook
think
pick
it
of
will
the
be?
week.
They're on a back-to-back. I'm going to say it's going to be Nuggets minus 2.5. Or minus 2.5.
Yeah, I think that's it.
There you go. All right, guys, final segment here. Real quick before we get to Super Chats, I'm just going to give you a player. What do you want to see from this player in one word?
Okay.
We got to be quick. In one word.
One word, Eric.
Jamal Murray.
Yes or no?
Legs.
God damn it. I knew you were going to do it. Is that really it?
Yes, I want to see. I want to see him healthy and consistent, and that comes down to his GD legs.
Simplify.
Really? What does that mean?
Just take the open looks. I'm trying to find one word.
Okay.
Shoot it. Shoot. Shoot.
Good.
I'm gonna say rim. I want to see him get to the. I want to see him get to the rim. He needs to get to the rim. Like a lot of his has great footwork, great maneuvering, great passing, great playmaking, great really good 3-point shooting. I just want to see him get to the rim. Have a nice dunk. Remember the last time he played the Bucks in Denver? You guys remember that?
Oh man.
I don't know if that was the last time, but it was.
I don't think it was.
It was 8 times.
This is a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Nikola Jokic.
Reminder.
I love your reminder games.
Dominant.
Yeah.
Just want to see my man dominate, dude. MVP.
I'll say pride.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll say pride. I mean, I think he has a lot of personal pride, but I want him to have the bad kind of pride. The one where you want other
Yeah,
people's
bad
opinions to
intentioned
change.
pride.
Yeah,
I love
bad
it.
intentions. MPJ. By the way, that stat, I can't remember who it was that shared out the stat that all time Michael Porter has the best 3-point percentage in March.
He
Oh,
has the best career 3-point percentage in March. It's the best career 3-point percentage in any month for any player in NBA history.
Michael Porter Jr. is so filthy.
Beware the mics of March.
Oh, man. Michael Porter Jr. playing at home with 2 days rest. I'm taking the threes tomorrow.
Yeah. What do I want to see from Mike? Buckets.
Buckets. What do I want to see from Mike? I want to see confidence, man. I want to see him, like be that third wheel in the best way.
I'm going to say usage. I want to see, like, these last 9 games. Give him the rock, man. Let's call a couple more plays for my guy MPJ.
Yeah.
I want to just see, like, him get to the rim more off
Mike the rock.
of dribbling. Who just added Gordon?
I think you did, brother.
Oh, Gordon. AG.
Can you imagine if I just rebounding?
Rebound.
Rebounding.
He had to put it in the...
What do I want to see out of
intense.
Gordon? I want to see like a return. Like, return. I want to see his. I want to see like Christmas.
You know what it is? I got the word. It's swagger. I think
Yeah.
he lost his swagger.
He
I don't
did,
know
man.
if it's health. I don't know if it's what it is, but I want him to have the swagger back. He needs it, man.
He needs it. He's got it in spades, and he's just like not.
I'm telling you,
applying
last
it.
year, Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors looked at him as the guy they felt they can get in his head. Most of this year, I thought that's no longer true. Even last year, I think he answered it's not true. Last couple games, I'm like, I don't know, it might be true. It might be true. The bench.
Oh, God.
Stops.
Yeah. Jeez.
Rebounds.
Adequate, man.
Adequate.
I want them to play in an adequate way. That's not a negative. I just keep it steady, man.
I'm going to go Chanchar.
Oh,
Chanchar.
Chalky.
That's the right
Chalky. I
answer.
should have gone Chalky. Dang it. Chalky. I wanted to see him play. Give him a stint. You know who's played against Giannis a lot? Vlatko.
Oh, that's
Team
right.
Slovenia. Michael Malone.
Composure.
Has he not had that lately? Why are you wishing for something like that?
I'm just saying, in the March spin, I just hope he stays composed.
Responsive. That he's able to respond to new wrinkles
Responsive.
that are shown to him.
That he's alive.
Yeah, dude. Like just.
Mike. Sorry.
But I want to see him respond to new things that are shown to him and it doesn't take a game or two to do it.
I'm going to say Chanchar.
Chalky?
Chalky.
He missed it twice.
Let's say it twice. Well, the joke. All right. What do we got some super chats here? Just one.
What?
The Great Brow says, "Love Maul, but you can tell me he was a You can tell he was a shooting guard prior to NBA.
Fun fact, he was actually a center. I know, I'm
Well,
serious.
Not in college. He wasn't. He said
Well, yeah,
prior
she
to
said
the
before
NBA.
the NBA.
Well, I guess he's
Well,
not.
his
That
whole life.
could be a whole. He was actually dust. If we go back.
Yeah, he
farther.
was a child before the NBA also.
He was actually formed
You could
of
tell.
ions
Yeah, I
from
love
an
Maul, but
exploding
you could tell he
star.
was a child before
You
the
know
NBA.
what, though? I do think Jamal at his best this year has looked like
I agree.
a point guard, and he would tell you that's the position I play. So
My only complaint with Jamal, I wish he ran the ball up the court a little bit more, but whatever. It's neither here nor there. All right, guys, I told you this is the last small game. Only big games from here on out.
Big
Starting with
tings, big
tomorrow.
tings.
We're going to be getting here to the bar. You guys come in, have some food. We got some delicious food tomorrow. We're going to have the party bus going. If you haven't bought your tickets already, you can click the link in the description of the show. It's just $20. You get to ride the party bus with us. But more important than all, you get to hang out with us. You get to hang out with us.
Wow. Something you can do for free basically every night.
But we're always especially good on Takeover
my
Night.
buddies here.
Oh, boy.
Laking ball. Let's go Chicken Nuggets. Best team in the league. Beat Giannis and Embiid. For your resident Nuggets hater and diehard Celtics fans, me and B Vogt.
I'm not like the longer this is going on, I'm not positive that it's not you.
I was waiting for someone to figure that out. You thought I was
that's too funny.
changing the rundown. I was typing a
All right,
super
everybody.
chat.
Thanks for hanging with us. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow at the
Let's
bar.
go.